All right, let's jump right into a question that is, well, about as big as they get. It's something people have wondered about forever, in every single culture, in every corner of the world.
Seriously, where does it come from? That voice in your head, the feeling that you're you and not someone else? It's a huge mystery, right? Well, the material we're digging into today offers a really fascinating answer, and it's one that's surprisingly consistent across the globe. It's this idea of a divine spark.
So here's our game plan. First, we're going to figure out what this spark actually is. Then we'll hunt for it in some ancient writings and see how it pops up in different cultures. After that, we'll look at the logic holding it all together and wrap up with how you can actually apply this stuff in your own life. Sound good? Let's go.
All right, first things first, what in the world is this divine spark? Let's get right to the core of the idea.
Okay, so the big idea here is that your consciousness, it's not just some happy accident of brain chemistry. Think of it more like a little piece, a tiny fragment of some greater divine source that's inside every single one of us. It's the thing that animates you, that makes you alive. And this is the really important part. It's also where your conscience comes from. You know, that little voice, your inner compass that knows right from wrong? Now, you might be thinking this sounds a bit new agey, right? But here's the thing. It's not. This idea is ancient. It's woven right into the fabric of some of the oldest scriptures on the planet. Let's take a look.
Wow. I mean, what a metaphor, right? The candle of the Lord. It's not just something that's there. It's an active light, a candle lit by something divine. And it's a searching light. So, what's it looking for?
Well, it's basically our internal truth detector. That light is what helps us look inside ourselves and sort out what's true from what's not, what's right from what's wrong. It's like we come with this moral detector pre-installed. And this one, right here from Genesis, really gets to the heart of it. Life isn't portrayed as just happening. It's described as a direct, intentional act, a divine breath. And that breath of life, the neshama in Hebrew, it's understood as so much more than just air in the lungs. It's the source of our soul, our self-awareness, our consciousness. This is the exact moment, according to this text, that the spark gets lit. Okay, so this is where it gets really, really interesting. This isn't just a concept from one specific tradition. You start looking around and you see it popping up all over the place, just dressed in different clothes, using different words. Take the ancient Stoics, guys like Marcus Aurelius. They talked about the logos spermaticos. I know, it's a mouthful, but it literally means a seed of divine reason. They believed this seed was planted inside every single person, and the whole point of life was to live in sync with that inner rational spark. Okay, now let's jump over from ancient Greece to ancient India. In Hindu philosophy, you've got the concept of Atman. That's your inner self, your soul. But here's the mind-blowing part. The texts say that this individual soul, the Atman, is essentially the same thing as Brahman, the ultimate universal reality. So get this, the spark inside you isn't just from the divine, it is divine. And then you have Taoism, with the idea of tea. This is like the unique virtue or power that every single thing gets from the universal source, the Tao. It's how that cosmic energy shows up specifically in you, or in a tree, or in a river. You start to put all of these different pieces together and, well, you start to see a really clear pattern.
And here it is, laid out plain as day. Look at this. It doesn't matter if you call it pneuma, logos, atman, tea. It's all pointing to the same thing. Sure, the language is different, and the specific goal might be framed as alignment or harmony or liberation, but the fundamental idea, it's exactly the same. There's a piece of the divine inside of us, and our job is to live in a way that connects us back to it.
Okay, so this isn't just a collection of cool stories from the past. The argument in the source material is that this is actually a coherent, logical model for understanding ourselves. Let's break down how that logic works. So you can lay it out like this. Step 1, assume there's a divine source of life and consciousness. Okay, if that's our starting point, then it follows that we, humanity, are animated by the spirit of that source. Step 3, therefore our own spirit must have a little piece of that divine essence in it. And the final step, the conclusion, is pretty clear. If you want to live a meaningful life, you should probably try to guide your actions by that inner spirit, to align yourself with that bigger picture. But what does this feel like in real life? It's not some abstract thing. The source says you experience it every day. It's that quiet part of you that's just watching. It's your awareness, sure, but it's more than that. It's the part of your awareness that gives you that gut feeling, that knows when you're on the right track versus when you're not. That's it. That's the spark in action. That's your conscience.
Okay, this is all great, but what do we do with it, right? I mean, how does this actually change anything day to day? Well, the sources get really practical here. They talk about tending the flame. And they lay out 4 key ways to do this. First up, daily contemplation. That just means taking a little time each day to get quiet and notice that inner observer. Second, moral alignment. This is about hitting pause before you make a choice and just asking yourself, is this feeding the flame or dimming it? Third is creative service, basically using whatever you're good at to make the world a slightly better, more harmonious place. And finally, communal reflection, talking about this stuff with other people because sharing these insights can make the flame burn brighter for everybody involved.
And when you put it all together, you get to this incredible idea. When you really listen to that inner spirit and act from it, you're not just following a moral code. You're actually plugging into the creative force of the universe. You become a brand new expression of that same energy that started everything. It's like you're a new word in the ongoing poem of creation. So that leaves us with a pretty big question to chew on. If this is true, if this idea that has echoed through so many cultures for so long is onto something, and if every single person you meet and yourself is carrying a piece of this divine flame, what does that demand from us? How would that change everything? The way we treat ourselves, the way we treat each other? Everything we've talked about in this explainer comes straight from the sources you see here. Thanks so much for joining me.